The Nicobar Islands are located in the eastern Indian Ocean and part of India. They are located southeast of the Indian subcontinent, separated 1,300 kilometers from the Bay of Bengal. The islands are clustered into three groups: the northern group, the central group, and the southern group. Earlier, these islands were a Danish colony, and even the name of the Nicobar Island were called the Frederiks Islands, and the Great Nicobar Island was called New Denmark.
Well, Denmark was very active in the 16th century in actually mostly in India, and we sent out several expeditions financed by the Danish King Frederik IV at that time. And the most well-known of our trade stations in India is now Tranquebar, but we also had Serampore at the Hooghly River, the Frederiksnagar, I think it was called, and then of course the Nicobars. And there is a growing interest in Denmark from all three places.
From 1756 to 1848, the Danish tried to develop the Nicobar Island as a major trade center. Under the Danish period, the Nicobar was occupied by the Austrians.
We are talking about a time when most of the European powers were busy trying to get a piece of the East India resources. And most European powers were coming to Asia, Southeast Asia, to colonize parts or whole of it. And so also the Austrians felt it was the Austrian-Hungarian Empire at that time. The Austrians felt that they should also form Austrian East India Company. And it was a Dutchman by the name of William Bolts, who were actually working with the English East India Company earlier, who was thrown out of the Austrian service. And he went and convinced the Austrian Empress, her name was Maria Theresa, to colonize the Nicobar Islands and make it a center for Austrian trade. And so they set sail in this ship called Joseph and Maria Theresa. And in 1778, they took over the Nicobar Islands. At this time, the islands were somehow under the control of the Danish people.
During the Second World War, the Nicobar became occupied by Japan. In 1947, the Nicobar Island became part of the India region. There are two unique features about the central Nicobar Islands. One is the natural harbor, and the other is the Queen of Nicobar.
Nicobar Harbour, so-called, or Kamota, it has been guarded by various islands from both southwest monsoon as well as northeast monsoon, by islands by which you get a very good shelter so that your ship is in safe place and with sufficient water under keel, and you can navigate safely.
During the World War I, the German battleship Emden prowled the waters of the Bay of Bengal, creating terror in various parts of India. When the ship came into the Nicobar harbor, a noble tribal woman hoisted the British flag, telling that the British army were hiding in the jungles. This lady named Shlon was then decorated by the British for her bravery and quick thinking. Later, she got declared as the Queen of Nicobar. Queen Shlon cooperated with the Indian government as well as the British after their freedom. She then worked in the service for her tribal people and civilized them.
Hai Japan pen anda. Al Japan anda teramna. Jika jangan kenjut jangan no peskit. Tante yang tatanya. Loy. Jangan lanu anak. Yang nak pan ni tanah kata tanah loy. Hata cuci dong.
Queen Shlon died in 1954, creating widespread sadness among her people because of their great respect for her. After her death, the Nankori Island leadership fell into the hands of her daughter, Rani Lakshmi, where she commanded the same dynamic leadership as her mother.
Rani, actually, she was a dynamic lady. She will solve the problem of the tribal. Actually, I was working under her because she was chairman of Manola Mata Limited. So whenever I go for a visit, she used to advise me, asking for the problem of the people, all the island, from Chaura to Great Nicobar. So whenever there is any problem or dispute, Rani herself will settle the problem. Kuti jaya karte the. Actually, she was following the footsteps of her mother, who was also Rani. Her name was Rani Sloan. They are both a dynamic lady, I can say, because they were doing very well for the service of the people. To take care of the people, their grievances, they will approach the government for any help.
The immense respect that she commanded on the Nicobar Islands are illustrated by visits from several state dignitaries home to the Rani's home.
If you speak about the Rani Queen of Nankori, there she was Rani Lakshmi. And it is a fact that in those days, whether they were Rani or not, it was a decoration like, because they used to speak on behalf of the people, the tribals living there. So the legendary Rani was recognized by all, right from the President of India or any minister, dignitaries, anybody comes there, they used to go to the Rani's house. It was a program, used to be.
Also, Rani Lakshmi has generously donated large areas of land and facilities to the government and the offices around. A hospital for the army and navy, a temple, a mosque, a church, and a school for development of the island. Rani Lakshmi, also known as Weka Bewi, died on the 12th November 1989 at the age of 85. Rani Lakshmi was the first member of the Home Ministry Advisor Board. She contributed much to the welfare of the tribal people.
Well, I can only say I've never met Rani Lakshmi, but whatever I know about her is through my informants and through talking to people. I tried to understand her personality by talking to different types of people to whom she revealed a different part of herself. Because Rani Lakshmi was not one person, but she was many persons. She was a mother, she was a grandmother, she was a head of a very big cooperative society, the MML. So she was also a boss, and she was also a dynamic leader, giving justice and visiting all the places. So I tried to reconstruct her personality by talking to the different people